Anyways, recently I had a schizoaffective episode that made life very difficult. I had to take time off work and do a whole host of other things to make sure I got through it. And I did get through it. And so I figured that I would make a video talking about how I knew that I was getting over this bump in the road. And if you are new here, my name is Kit and I have something called schizoaffective disorder, which is a condition where someone experiences symptoms of schizophrenia, such as delusions and hallucinations, but also symptoms of a mood disorder, either major depression or, in my case, bipolar. Schizoaffective episodes for me start with the highs of mania, then they hit the lows of depression, and then I fluctuate between the two, and then it's over. Of course, this whole time I'm also hallucinating, but that's almost a side dish, with the mood symptoms being the main course. But where I am today is grateful that that's over and being happy that I'm back to my usual self. So in the spirit of getting closure for the last few weeks of absolute heck, here are 6 signs that I know my episode is ending. The first thing is that my energy levels start going up. A lot of going through depression for me is getting up the strength to do little things like get out of bed. There was a day about a week and a half ago where I only got out of bed to pee, and then I just came back and spent the whole day under the covers on top of one of my stuffed bees, going through things on my phone or things on my iPad. It saddened me. But when I started to get the energy to get out of bed more easily, well, then I started to have some hope. Mania and hypomania are always a worry on the horizon, but I've noticed that the energy shift I'm talking about now, it's more sustainable. It feels more normal. It's within reason. While when I get a manic or a hypomanic burst of energy, it's always way out of proportion to the situation, and it comes basically out of nowhere, and it's so intense. It's extremely intense, and it's very hard to ignore. While this shift I'm talking about is like, okay, I feel like the energy I am feeling is appropriate for the situation. This actually lines up with what's going on in my life, and for the average person, the energy to get out of bed is a normal thing. I hope that makes sense. I'm not sure if that came across well, but I'm gonna leave it in. Anyways, I firmly believe that wanting to get out of bed, being able to get out of bed from a mental health perspective is a privilege, and I never ever want to lose that. The second thing is that things that are funny actually make me laugh again. Now, when I'm in episodes, which you guys have seen at this point, I still do laugh. Part of my regular speech with people is I laugh, and when I'm in episodes, it's definitely more of a fake it till you make it situation. I mean, there's countless studies that show that even the act of forcing yourself to smile does improve mood. And I can definitely confirm that yes, that's definitely a thing. But when I'm coming out of episodes, that laughter comes easier. Those smiles are more natural, and the feeling I get from the joy of something funny feels genuine again. That lets me know that things are getting much, much, much better, and that maybe at the end of the day, I'm gonna be okay again. The third thing is actually related to the first thing, but I firmly believe it has its own category, and it's that I get the sudden urge to clean my apartment. I do the dishes and wipe off the counters, take out the trash and do my laundry, and I'll take out all the containers of food from my room that kind of piled up over the last few weeks. I'll make my bed that hasn't been made in a very, very, very long time. I'll fold all the blankets that I wrapped myself in when I was feeling bad. And I'll do some other things too, like I'll break down all the boxes that I got from Amazon orders that I did to feel better inside. And I'll pick up all the clothes that I dropped on the floor. I'll make sure all my coats are hung up back in the closet. I mean, just basically all the stuff that's just everywhere, just laying there, not a place because I had no energy to put it back where it belonged. I basically have the urge to do all that. And then eventually at the end of this, I'll have a clean apartment, which is nice. Because it feels like once I'm done cleaning that I've actually gotten closure for the episode and that I'm actually equipped mentally to move on. It's almost like it's vital for my recovery, you see? And in many ways the episode is over and I can move on once this happens, but I still do spend a few therapy sessions later really dissecting what actually happened, what went on, what could have gone better, and making plans for the future. And I think a lot of this thing, this desire to clean when I get a burst of energy, when I'm having an episode lifting, really comes from my core experiences with mood disorders in general. Like from a very young age, I remember getting in these things called cleaning moods where I would just clean anything and everything for hours and hours and hours. And as I grew up, it got worse and worse and worse. And you could say better and better, better. I got more and more detailed with it, and I would do it for longer periods of time. And it wasn't until I was in late high school and diagnosed with my first mood disorder that I learned that those cleaning moods were really just hypomania or even mania. And I think it kind of trained my brain over the years that if I get a burst of energy, whether it's from mania or whether it's just from an episode ending, that my brain goes, oh, that means it's time to clean now. So, burst of energy that's appropriate for the situation and not blown out of proportions like mania is. Yes, that means let's clean, okay, and then that means the episode is lifting. And so, on to the next thing. The fourth thing is that I want to see my friends and family again. Usually in episodes, my disorder tells me that I need to isolate and not talk to anyone and just stay away from everything and just become a hermit. That's what schizoaffective disorder wants me to do. And I've been in this game long enough to know that, yeah, I need to fight that, and I do. I fought it last week. I fought it the week before, and I'm gonna fight it in the future. And honestly, this last episode, my dad had me walk the mall with him almost every single day just to get out of the apartment and get some human interaction. And seriously, it really helped. And this is where I tell you that the wording of this thing is very important. I said I want to see my friends and family again, not have to see my friends and family again. Have to is what I do when I'm in an episode. Want to means the episode is ending. It means that there's an inherent desire for interaction on my end, and that's a good thing. And of course, my friends and family are always happy to see me back to my usual self, so it's a win-win all around. The fifth thing is going to be kind of a conglomeration of categories, and it's basically just talking about the physical differences that happen within my body when an episode is lifting. Many physical things happen to me when I'm depressed, when I'm in mixed states, when I'm manic. I usually have a hard time eating food because of a lack of appetite, and I experience this in both mania and depression. And I'm really tired a lot, and I'm tired for two reasons. The first is that depression in general just makes you tired regardless. But the second thing is when I have these mixed episodes where I'm fluctuating between mania and depression, the mania, I do things until I'm exhausted, and then when I flip the other way, not only am I depressed, but I'm tired from all the stuff I did when I was manic. And those are really just the main two that I deal with. And so I know that when I start feeling actual real hunger and I'm not constantly tired all the time, then maybe, just maybe, my episode is ending and things are looking up again. And the thing is with all of this, when I'm in this act of recovering from an episode, where I'm in recovery from what actually went on, it always reminds me how lucky I am that I do actually get to have days where I'm euthymic, where I'm not up and I'm not down. And even if I am up and down, it's very slight and I can still function, because episodes really bring me back to just how bad it can get. And the thing is, my brain often blocks out what happens in episodes, whether it's mania or a trauma experience or just the way my brain works. I don't often remember things that happen in my episodes. And honestly, given how bad they can get, maybe that's a good thing. And honestly, not being tired all the time and actually wanting to eat are a big thing for me. And I can never, ever, ever lose the gratitude that I get from that. The sixth thing is that my psychosis goes back to a far more manageable state. When I'm in episodes, I get this mean voice that's incredibly rude, and he says a lot of horrible things to me, and he's around sometimes in my head when I'm in euthymic states, but when I'm in episodes, he's like there all the time, and he says all the classics like how I'm worthless, how I don't deserve to be living the life I'm living, that I'm not good enough, that no one cares about me, that all my friends hate me. I mean, all this stuff that I know it's not true, but when I hear it day in, day out, it kind of does wear on me a little bit. So that's not fun at all. And he refused me to give me his name, so I named him Beckerson, and he hates it. Which means, in my opinion, that it's a good name. And so when Beckerson starts to take a backseat and quits talking to me as much, well, then I have a pretty almost objective way to tell that the depression, that the moods, that all of it is finally coming to an end. And the thing is, Beckerson is one of the regulars in my head. He does show up on a pretty regular basis, but at the same time, it's not nearly as bad as it is when I'm in mood episodes. We have a really weird, tumultuous relationship, and I'm not always sure what to think of it, but it's like he's a roommate I can't get rid of, so I have to deal with him. So I found a way to make it work, and that's just, I mean, that's how I do with all of my voices for the most part. I just kind of figure out a way to work with them because neither of us can make the other go away. It's one way to say it. It's one way to say it. But I do get really happy when I make it through another depressive state without letting him or any of the others get to me. And so, F you, Beckerson. And so to wrap up this video, I want to talk about how my signs are going to be potentially different from your signs. But the whole point of this video was to share one perspective of what it's like for one schizoaffective to leave an episode. But at the end of the day, I'm really happy that I get to show you guys all sides of the schizoaffective experience. And frankly, me making videos about how I feel in episodes and what it's like in episodes will help me to remember what it's like and how bad it is, and maybe give me a little bit more gratitude for the euthymic and stable times I have in between those episodes. And so my question to you is that if you experience mood episodes, psychotic episodes, or you're like me and you're lucky and you have both of them, how do you know that you're getting better? Of course, there is the comment section down below, and if that's too public for you, I am on Twitter and Instagram at SchizoKitzo, and I love talking to you guys about mental health. And so, without further ado, thank you for joining me and making the uncomfortable comfortable. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.